What's going on, everybody? This is AJ Capasso from Coventry Circle Paranormal. I'm here with my great friend,
Robin from Halfern Paranormal.
And we are also joined by one of Robert Halfern's paranormal teammates, Chris Jenkins Boyle. So please go ahead and introduce yourself. I know you got no voice, so I kind of
I got hardly any voice.
Just,
I'm the skeptic of the group, I'm afraid.
Awesome. So we just want to make a couple announcements. We just want to say thank you to all of our sponsors. We want to give a shout out right now to Parapost Network Central on Facebook, where we are broadcasting live from the home of paranormal podcasts, live investigations, tarot readings. I mean, you name it. If you are a fan of the paranormal, please head over on Facebook. Also visit parapost.net, as well as check out the app on iOS and Android to come get involved. It's a great community. And we're just, building all amazing paranormal podcasts. So come get involved. If you have a podcast, please come on and join us. We like to bring great people over, great teams over. We also want to give a shout out to a couple of our sponsors and great friends. First one we want to give a shout out to is FCD Ghost Boxes in the UK. Nigel Mortimer is creating some amazing, adjustable sweep radio boxes, along with a portal device, as well as having a built-in REM pod now in some of the systems. I mean, what he's doing is absolutely amazing. Has some great builds. So go and check out FCD Ghost Boxes for some great prices. As well as we want to give a shout out to Global United Paranormal Foundation, all our friends over there. And we also want to give a shout out to their parent company, the Paratech Laboratories, is also with and inside of Global United Paranormal. We can't wait for their launch and all their paranormal tech. We believe that some of the stuff that is coming out is going to be absolutely amazing that nobody has ever seen before. We want to also give a shout out to a great friend of ours, Brian J. Laverty of Hunophobia on Paraflix. He is the leader, the man of the hour, everybody from Paraflix. From Parapost. He is an awesome person and such a great friend of ours. Super happy that we got to meet him, and I get to talk to him constantly. We want to give a shout out to our friends, PD Region Paranormal. You need to go on Facebook right now. Go to their pages, their social medias. Check out what they have coming up this year. I heard of an event that's recently coming up, as well as some amazing stuff that they're doing. We want to give a shout out to also Paranormal Consultant from Pennsylvania. Please head over there. They have a great podcast, the Paracrew podcast. There's also Paranormal Consultant Matt Barron from there. I mean, he's just an incredible guy. So make sure you go check out their social medias and everything they're doing, as well as our friends from the Down Under, Night Watchers, Paranormal Australia. We want to give a shout out to Dan and everybody over there. Appreciate you guys. Hope you guys are well. We'll be talking to you tomorrow night. Can't wait. And we want to also give a shout out to our newest sponsor, which is Ghost Energy. It's a great company. It's healthy energy drinks with the most spookiest flavors that you can find. We got everything from Swedish Fish, as you can see, to orange creamsicle, even down to Sour Patch Kids, which is absolutely the weirdest flavors that you can find. But I tell you what, great company. They're a very healthy company. They also do pre-workout supplements, stuff like that. So you can find them in GNCs and health food stores. So definitely make sure to go to their website at ghostenergy.com and, check them out. But today, Robin, you want to announce who we have, man? We have an amazing guest, a TV personality, and a just amazing person all in general. So please announce.
We do indeed. Before I do, a quick shout out to the people who we had on the weekend, AAP's Variety Channel. 100%. Massive shout out to them. Big sponsor, bring lots of people in. Good friend of ours. So There you go. Richard Felix, who basically you'll know him from if you watch UK's Most Haunted. He was on it, and he does a lot of tours around Derby and Derby jail and stuff. He's a paranormal historian, great guy, and he knows anything. So,
absolutely. So let's bring him in. Hold on one second. Here we go.
How you doing,
Richard?
Yo, Richard.
My friend.
How are we doing?
Good. So happy to have you on.
A pleasure to be on.
Absolutely. So good to hear that we know friends from over here together. I couldn't believe it. I think that's so cool.
Yeah, it's incredible. Charles Rosenay. Yeah, from top.
There you are. You've got a fan already.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, Irene,
great
for
guy.
watching.
I'll let you know, Steve. I'm not sure yet. Go ahead.
And we have Irene. Like I said, greetings from Tokyo. Thank you so much for tuning in from Tokyo. We greatly appreciate you and World of Ghosts. Want to say hi to Julie and everybody there. And we just want to thank everybody who's watching right now. But Richard, what I want to get to is, I noticed that you obviously you love history. It's one of the biggest things. I think that's amazing because I tell you what, growing up in school, I first hated history, but now being in this paranormal field, it's I love going everywhere, museums, everything. It's one of my favorite things. So I wanted to ask you, like, how did you get into the history side? Because I know we're going to talk a little bit about how you got into the paranormal side and how you kind of faced death yourself. But first, I want to ask you, like, how'd you get into the paranormal historian side?
Yeah, well, I mean, basically, it's a good question. You see, it's always been my passion in like military history, soldiers. All I ever did as a kid was play soldiers. All I ever wanted to be was a soldier. But it was always military and the collected militaria all my life, basically. And so that's where the history, bit started. Then I became chairman of the Derby Tourism Association in the centre of downtown Derby, as you guys would call it. And because of that, I got into local history big time, obviously dealing in depth with the history of the city of Derby, which that's not what we're about tonight, but, an incredible 2,000 years of history. Then from that came, what can we do to bring people into the centre of Derby, tourism-wise? Well, York do ghost walks, so I started a ghost walk. After I'd opened a heritage centre in an old Tudor Grammar School that went back, hundreds of years, about 600 years. And when I started doing the ghost walks, the first one I did, I thought was rubbish. I thought, I can't do this unless I believe it.
Yeah,
I can't do it. And some of the stories to me were just nonsense.
Yeah.
So I spent another 6 months researching and realizing that ghosts and history go together. Yeah. And to just tell a ghost story could become, in my opinion, because these walks I was doing were 3 hours. Yeah. We did a couple of haunted pubs on the way around and a candlelit supper at the end of it. And so it really took at least sometimes 3.5 hours. And just talking, there's a grey lady and there's a blue lady, there's a pink lady. God, you'd be bored off your mind at the end of it. So I realised that I needed, although I can't prove the ghost stories, if I can tie in the history with the ghost story, the whole damn thing becomes so much more fascinating and provable. And
Absolutely.
that's, to be honest with you, where it came from. Then, obviously, when I got on to Most Haunted on series 1, they told me originally they were going to brand me as the country's leading paranormal investigator, which I'm not, and I never was. And when it actually came to, they sort of branded me actually as the historian, which I left school at 15. I haven't got any, I got some GCSEs, but other than that, I didn't go to university. I didn't do anything. So yes, I'm a local historian, and I personally branded myself as a paranormal historian. Yeah, because the two go hand in glove.
Absolutely.
It's as simple as that. You can't get closer to history than seeing the ghost of Abraham Lincoln, or Mary Queen of Scots, or whoever, you know what I mean? King William the Third, and the Battle of the Boyne, and that's the big one. And that's where I come in, because tying the history with the ghost story, if you can, makes it so much more fascinating
and valid too, which is great. You know what I mean?
Validation, isn't it?
Exactly. That's the whole point. And I realised that at the end of my tours, my ghost whatever, I get people saying, "Well, God, I never realised that. I never knew that." In other words, not necessarily the ghost story, but the actual history behind it is absolutely fascinating. 100%. And the two go together, and it also works with schools.
Yeah,
big time.
I like
ghosts
it.
and history.
Effectively, you're giving your own lesson, really, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
I always remember
absolutely.
years ago, I was doing a tour for when I ran this heritage centre for school, and it was January. It was wet. It was raining, and although I have an ability really to hold people's attention, these kids, all I was getting really was, when's lunch? When is it lunchtime yet? Until we got to this particular pub. And it's the oldest pub in the centre of Derby, old timber frame building. And I'm standing outside, and all I said was, "Oh, by the way, there's a ghost." What? And this wasn't a ghost tour. This was a local history tour. And all of a sudden, the kids stopped asking about when's lunch. They were fascinated. They wanted to know more about the body snatchers that used to deliver the bodies into the cellar of this building. And then for the rest of the tour, all I was getting from them was, "Have you any more ghost stories?" And wow, they forgot all about the rain, all about the cold, and all about lunch.
Wow.
The attention just got like that.
It's wild.
So,
it's wild. Paranormal
Yeah.
has attracted so many now. I mean, like if you think 10 years ago, right, Richard? It's like it was a little, it was popular, but now it's like it feels like it's just going through the roof now, like with all the people so interested in it. And I think it's great. I think it's great because you add in this history fact to it, and when you're an investigator, a true investigator, you have to look into the history, and I think that's just amazing.
Yeah, and that's the big one. That's what whenever I go and wherever I go, or whatever I do, in investigations, obviously TV wise, and I spend a lot of time beforehand. Not only beforehand, but when I get to the venue, talking to the people that own it, run it, live in it, and talking to them about the history of the place, so that I can try and work out myself who's haunting it and why they're haunting it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes.
And that's so much more important. What happened to them? Why are they still there?
Is there a pattern that you have found from all of your studies, from all these different places? Is there something like a similarity or synchronicity that you've maybe found with these hauntings?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah, very much so. I mean, one of them is a sort of a suicide thing. Okay. Quite a lot of places there that you find that someone killed themselves in the building. Then there's in other words, let's try and find out, as I've just said, why they are still there, because they shouldn't be.
Yes.
So something has happened to them that's caused them still to be there.
Yeah.
Unfinished business, murdered, no one found the murderer.
Yeah.
Executed for a crime they didn't commit, and they're still waiting for justice. And of course, another big one actually is they loved it there, and they stayed behind.
Yeah.
There's awful lot of that when you go to a property, a house.
Yeah.
A private house.
Yeah.
Well, what happened there? So and so committed suicide in the bed. Okay, yeah, okay. Or so and so was murdered in the bed. Yeah, okay. Or no. We think it's the old lady that lived there 50 years ago or 100 years ago that's not moved on. And well, so why is she suddenly started to get active? Well, we've been doing some work in the house. Aha. Well, she doesn't like what you're doing. Why are you doing that why are you knocking my wall down in my bedroom? Because she still lives there.
You're putting the kitchen and the dining room open plan. She doesn't want that.
She doesn't. No, so right. Or the other one, a prime example only the other week with a place I was at. This guy had done some work on the house. He'd moved the staircase. It's a cottage, a very 18th century cottage. He'd good on DIY. He'd moved the staircase from one part of the lounge area to another, and bricked up one of the doorways. Yeah. And lo and behold, just finished the work, and the two of them are sat there having their tea, when they hear a cough of an old lady, and they look up, and there's this lady in Victorian clothing with a clay pipe in her mouth. Wow. Walked past them without acknowledging them in any way, goes towards the wall and goes straight through the wall where he's bricked up the doorway.
Building.
Wow.
And they would lay in bed and hear footsteps coming up the stairs.
That's creepy.
But not the stairs that.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Maybe it was from the stairs that aren't there anymore.
Yeah.
Now, Richard, I ask you this question because of just what you just said, right? You know how she was using those doorways and the staircase that was no longer there. Do you think, just opinion-wise, do you think that these spirits, do you think they're seeing the same layout as always, but yet when they know that there's a renovation going on, how come they're still think, using those doors? That's the wonder, you know?
Yeah, I get that. I like it. In other words, so she's upset because she sees her wall coming down, or the wallpaper coming off her bedroom, or whatever. But she's going up the staircase that she's concerned about that they've knocked down. And how can that be? Which is it?
Yeah,
does she see it? Is she a time slip? Is she seeing it? She's obviously seeing as it was because she's going up the old stairs. Yeah. So how does she know that you're knocking the wall down or moving the staircase?
Or is that her making a point that she didn't want the staircase removed, so she'll continue to walk up where it used to be?
Possible.
Yeah.
But how can she? I don't know. But how can she make footsteps?
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's the footsteps they hear.
Yeah, you're right.
Which is a really interesting one. And don't know that one.
No, isn't that weird?
Very valid point. Very valid point. It may not be that she's upset because, like you say, she doesn't know that the staircase has been moved. So why does she suddenly start to appear or do things after they've damaged the house? Or is it more, because I'm a huge believer in what I call the stone tape theory?
Yes, me too.
Where and there's a possibility, and then so in other words, the demolition of the wall or whatever it happens to be is similar to knocking your old-fashioned cassette recorder on the floor. Sometimes it goes off.
Yeah.
Could the disturbance in the building cause a replay to take place that wasn't happening? I don't know. There's so much more of it.
Yeah. So many theories in this paranormal field, but I tell you what, it's great that we think about this type of stuff because you wonder, how could they be getting mad but still walking up the same staircase? And I wonder if that has something to do with the way our consciousness is when we leave this body, if it's on sometimes replay, like you said, and that residual energy coming from in the wood and everything that's around. It's amazing theories, I mean, too bad we aren't going to know until.
No, and there isn't enough debate and discussion on this. Shall I tell you why? Because basically it's all about scare factor.
Yep, you're absolutely right. I've been seeing.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
That's all. That's what people love.
You're right. You're right.
And that's what all the TV programs are about.
Yeah.
Scare factor.
Yeah.
All of it. Everybody. And the fact what really gets me. And us included on Most Haunted, just the same as everybody else. Anything happens, everybody runs off. Everybody screams.
Yeah.
But you know something? Do you know something, right? I'm gonna let Chris take this over. Go ahead.
You're the opposite.
No, the Most Haunted.
Oh yeah. As soon as it gets to a good part, on come the adverts, the cameras go off.
Oh, tell me about it.
I mean,
it's all scare factor. Screaming, running, fainting.
It's real. You've got to keep the camera running.
Of course you have. Because you see, the thing that gets me is that we're there ghost hunting. Yeah, we want something to happen. And every time it does, everybody runs away. And screams. And they're so frightened. Including all of them, including Ghost Adventures, they're all the same.
Yeah.
Big guys absolutely. Black, dressed in black. And as soon as something happens, they're so frightened, they're so scared. It's a bit like going fishing and being frightened of fish, isn't it?
No, you're absolutely right.
God, I've caught a fish. Oh, I hate them. I don't like fish.
Why not? It really winds me up.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So, Richard, see, I was just going to say, Richard, whenever you first went on Most Haunted, then were you supposed to be just in the studio all the time, or were you on there to go out on location as well?
Well, from on the lives, you see, the very first live at Dudley Castle, I was, as far as I knew, because they told me they were going to brand me as the country's leading paranormal investigator. Well, you know, I wasn't. I did ghost walks and tours and blah, 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 that sort of stuff. And I turned up expecting to be a paranormal investigator with me dousing rods and my crystal and my EMF meter. And I was told, no, I'm sorry, you're in the tent, you're in the marquee, on that you're an expert. Am I? Oh, okay, thank you very much. And so I was ushered into on the sofa in the studio with Matthew Smith, Dr. Matthew Smith, you know, the skeptic, again, the two of us, and that's how the first. And then from then on, I was branded as the historian. But on every program, every series, you know, except live, I was out in the field with the crew as a historian. But sometimes it varied. Sometimes I'd be sat with monitors in like in the studio, not the studio, but in one of the rooms. But usually out with the crew investigating, the same as them.
Yeah.
And then again on some of the lives, I went out. Sometimes I was in the studio. Sometimes I was out again investigating with them. Yeah. So it varied. Yeah. To be honest with you.
Yeah, but there's one clip that I want to mention to you that I'll never forget was I was watching it. You were out on location with them, and I can't remember where you were, but you were in an old building. You were in a basement, and I think it was you, and it might have been David Wells, sat at a table trying to get it to move, and all of a sudden it shot towards you.
Oh God, that was no. Tell you what, it was Bottle Widden Castle in Wales, and it was me, Carl, and Stuart in the cellar, and it was a metal table, and I've had more success with metal tables than anything, and it's incredible because it shot across at me. I mean, that would frighten anybody. It did me, I'll tell you. But the silly part about them is it happened twice.
I wouldn't be a skeptic then.
And they only put it on once. But basically, there was, you can see the camp for once. You could actually see where everybody's legs were. Not, you know, there's no possible way that they could have shot that table like they did across at me. That really was. But it happened twice.
Yeah, I remember watching that. It was instant, wasn't it?
Belter. That was really, and that was a good one. And then the other one, I actually, only time in my life, I've actually had a table rise off the floor. Wow. And it happened in a place called Taunton Castle in Somerset. And funnily enough, that was a metal table.
Mm-mm.
Oh, fold up more energy then.
Obviously, holds energy.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I'm wondering.
Yeah, if you think about it, right, metal is a great conductor for energy.
Oh God, yeah.
So I'm wondering with that energy, you know, especially how we measure EMF and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. I'm that obviously is the reason, you know, having all that energy with your guys' energy there, along with.
Yeah. Well, you see, that's the whole crux of the matter. Funnily enough, I'm fascinated by that. The advert, not the advert at the beginning, ghost energy. Because I want some of that. Because I want to change the name, you see, from ghost to energy.
I like it.
Because that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's just a word that we use that means to be frightened of.
Yeah. You're right.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. It's about 4,000 years old, and it was. I won't go into detail. It was basically a Proto-Indo-European word called Goizd, Ghoidz, and it meant to be frightened of. And from that came, well, guess what? The word, the old English word, ghast, Ghas. Have you ever been aghast at something?
No, I haven't.
Something ghastly.
Yeah,
it's frightening.
Yeah,
and that's we label anything that we don't understand as a ghost. but it's an energy. That's the whole thing. That's what ghosts are, and that's what we are. Energy.
Down to the
See, we're learning new things every day here.
Yeah, and you cannot destroy energy. First law of thermodynamics: you can either create or destroy, and that means that energy that's you. And by the way, I'm talking about the inward. I'm not talking about the vessel that held the energy. I'm talking about the energy within you, your mind, your consciousness, your ego, your soul, call it what you want. That energy is unique to you.
And it can't be destroyed.
No. And there's only one you on this planet. There may be doppelgangers, there may be people that look like you, but there's only one inner you on this in the universe. And that energy that is you can't be destroyed. So in some form it has to go on. Don't ask me how or where, but it has to go on. And that's the word that we should be using. Well, no, not really. You know, I don't think if I advertised an energy walk, people would come on it.
No, right. You know, it's just like
I would now.
It's just like paranormal shows nowadays, especially all around. All you're seeing is demon, portal to hell.
Oh, tell me about it.
You know what I mean? And it's like, and I understand because it's a marketing aspect, but in reality, there's so much more than the negative to the field.
I know that. I know. And all the
paranormal
paranormal groups are full of terror. And sorry, Charles, but you know, terror and fright nights and dare you come on, go to walk with us and a tour with us, and every ghost program. I don't care what. They're all running away. They're all frightened. It's all the demons that are going to get you later. And it's just rubbish.
To get your attention, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's, when I say sorry, it isn't rubbish because it entertains people.
You're right.
And it creates an interest.
Yeah, that's what I say. It's like a magnet to people.
Yeah. and so I can't criticize them for it because Joe Public loves it. In the same way as when you go to a theme park. You go on the scariest one there is.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Because you want to end up with your stomach in your mouth.
And not only that, but the scariest ride there will have the biggest, brightest lights around it as well.
And so I cannot criticize TV companies for creating ghost programs that are scary. And I cannot criticize paranormal groups that advertise themselves for people to come along for a fright night. Dare you come up? Because Joe Public loves it.
That's what people want.
More to it.
They want to be scared.
They want to be scared. They of course they do. Why not? Well, don't we all? But there's room for a real ghost program.
Yeah,
your
definitely.
energy program.
Definitely.
But it's never happened.
No, you're right. It's because of that marketing aspect. I don't think if someone actually watched a regular, paranormal investigation, because I mean, they cut out all the boring stuff and they leave just the It's like, who's really going to watch a 7-hour thing of basically just
watching paint dry for 5.5 hours? I know they wouldn't, but
you're right.
But there's room for a documentary type program.
Absolutely.
That not how can I put this? Not, as you just said, sitting for 7 hours on an investigation. No. They're done. They're fine. Investigations are great, and if something happens, because things will happen.
Absolutely.
And people will jump, and people, which is fine. I'll have to make people jump at home, but there's room for a real documentary type program that explains to people what ghosts might be. I can't say what ghosts are because there ain't no proof.
Of course,
that ghosts exist. Actually,
I know.
There is no proof. I've seen a ghost. I've heard a ghost. I've travelled with it. I can't prove it.
Yeah, unfortunately,
that's the world about it, but I can't prove it.
Yeah, I get it. Full body, solid apparition stand in front of my entire family, which they were all skeptics. I mean, a lot heavy Christian people, but we saw it solidly appear in our dining room for like up to a minute. It literally just appeared in front of us. I mean, shocked us all. I mean, I thought I was crazy beforehand until I saw it, and that's what got me into this paranormal field. Death experience and started having these weird things start happening to me, which led to that all experience. But I tell you what, you're right. You know what? No matter what we do, it's like we can't have that one moment where we're ready and we got
no. And if you took a photograph, people wouldn't believe it.
That's what I was about to say.
It's a fake.
I believe it.
There is no, and all of your family that saw it, you know you saw it. They know they saw it, but nobody will believe it. Well, sorry, that's not quite true. Nobody will be sure that that's what you saw. Or you can't prove it. And I tell you what, I do find fascinating, and forgive me for this, but basically, if you've got a guy that obviously we're talking to lots of people, some in America that happen to be in Walmart, and another guy saw him steal two jumpers, two pullovers, two sweaters, and he goes up to the security guy and tells him, and as the bloke's leaving the shop, the security guy grabs him, takes him off. The cops come, arrest him, and before you know it, he's in court, right? And the guy that saw him steal those two sweaters is a witness.
Yeah.
And he comes to court and he puts his hand on a book that's been written 600 years after the event and says, I swear by my imaginary God that I tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing. And he says, I saw that guy steal those jumpers. And guess what? All those 12 people in the jury, the judge, and the whole of the people in the jury believe him.
Yeah.
But if I say to you, I saw a ghost at 3:20 on a Friday afternoon in Derby jail.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. How much did you have to drink? Were you overtired?
You're right.
You're singing from the same hymn sheet, guys.
You're right. No, you're absolutely right. And people think of this, this is a very just regular thing to think about, but we don't think about that. And you're absolutely right. It's a proof of any of the stuff that we do. I mean, even when people I'm a Christian, stuff like that. I grew up as a Christian, but I've studied different religions. But the thing is, though, is I'm with you on that. We don't technically know. We can't say 100% proof just because some person thousands of years ago wrote a couple of things and done over and over. You know what I mean? And all those times back in the day, those church leaders and stuff like that, they wanted it to be manipulated to their benefit. So how do we know that's truly what they were saying? No. I get it.
But we believe it. We kill, slaughter, maim, torture in the name of something that nobody's ever seen.
You're right.
But you tell them you've seen a ghost. No way. The man's crackers. The man's mad.
You're a nut job.
Yeah.
That's what you get called. They get called a nut job over here.
Yes, nut job.
Over here too. I mean, I was so scared to share my experiences, even with my family at first, Yeah. And it's when I started having it happen and I started being able to show, spirit communication things. That's why I like to focus on spirit communication now instead of just the entire thing. I like to focus on using different different devices to actually hear them, come through and manipulate these frequencies and stuff like that. Because, when you get a certain swear word or certain like that, it's not going to be on these radio frequencies.
Of course.
So I want to get those type of evidence or something relevant that can be said back so people can hear it, see it, whatever they need to do to understand that something is real. Because that's the only way people will really actually kind of believe, you know what I mean? Which is kind of bad.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. Fascinating subject.
I tell you something else, Richard, which is like that. Is like UFOs. If someone says, "Oh, I've seen a big disc in the sky, all these lights," people go, "Nah, you didn't." No,
you didn't. No, I know that. It's so right.
Yeah.
And again, same thing.
How about the school? Go on. The school. So they had a UFO land at the schoolyard. These kids saw this. They interacted telepathically with it, but yet it's like, oh no, sorry, forget about it. No, it didn't happen.
Mistaken, overtired, making it up. Yeah. Same old story all the time.
Yeah.
And I just find it incredible that we're, but in the 21st century, but no, ghosts don't exist, no such thing. But to me, I hate to say it, but it's almost becoming a new religion, the paranormal side of things, spiritualism, call it what you will, because as the church loses its grip, I think that's the way of putting it.
Absolutely.
People still want an answer. People still want to believe.
You're right.
That there is something else.
Yeah.
And it's growing on a vast scale now, that people's belief, I suppose, in an afterlife.
Yeah.
But that's no different to what the church has been saying.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're
We're
right.
singing from the same hymn sheet, guys.
The thing is, as well, Richard, is I remember having some Jehovah's Witnesses come to my door, right?
Yeah.
And obviously they knock your door and they want to come in and tell you their scriptures and all this.
Yeah.
And I actually said to them, if you can answer my I actually give them 3 questions. It says, if you can answer any of these 3, you can come in and talk to me. And one of them was, I said to them, if you say that there's no such thing as an afterlife, that there's no such thing as ghosts and spirits and stuff, I says, how come if I was to bring you in here, get a table that has numbers and letters around it, put a glass in the middle and say, put your finger on that, you wouldn't do it? They couldn't answer it.
Oh, no.
You're right.
That's
You know-
right, isn't it?
Yeah, you're absolutely
And
right.
yet,
So
again,
crazy.
we're talking of the same thing, because at the end of the day, we're
Yep.
talking of people that die and come back.
Yes.
They're talking of a guy that was executed, crucified, buried, and 3 days later, whoopee, he came back again.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the difference? So is the resurrection the first ghost story?
That's what.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it must be.
Yeah.
You're right.
Exactly, yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm fascinated. It's incredible.
No, Richard, listen, on this podcast, you talk whatever you want about. I'm all about every single belief known to man. So I don't judge nobody. So please,
No.
my friend, I agree with you 100%. Don't
Yeah.
feel confidence.
It's amazing. Amazing.
This needs to be talked about. This does.
Oh, it does. Of course it does. Yeah.
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 Absolutely.
You know?
I'm being blinded by the sun.
Yeah, go ahead.
We've been waiting, AJ, haven't we? We've been waiting for a podcast that gets right into the nitty gritty of it, haven't we?
Yeah, you're
That's
absolutely
me, Mr. Nitty Gritty.
But the thing is, Richard, you know, these podcasts that we have, and you have these different guests on, and we've been lucky enough to have some great guests,
Yeah.
obviously
Yeah.
including yourself. But it's you know, it's about their paranormal experiences, you know, and what they believe. But to get someone like yourself on with that knowledge is gonna question them things. Do you know what I mean? People don't go as far as to question some of that stuff.
No, I know
They
that.
just say no, we don't believe in it, or yes, we do, but and that's as
Yeah.
far as it goes.
Yeah.
You
There's
know, you need
far
someone
more
to
to
get
it.
right into it.
Yeah, and that's I have, like as I said, a very inquisitive mind. I'm
Best one to have.
terribly skeptical, very skeptical about an awful lot of it. But over 30 years of doing this, I have spoken to so many. I mean, the amount of, you see, when I do a ghost walk, it's not like a tourist type ghost walk. That's sort of. I don't dress up in a top hat and ring a bell, and I meet, you know, and they get the whole, and people talk to me all the time, and they give me their accounts at the end or during or whenever, and over 30 years of this, I've spoken to thousands and thousands and thousands of people that have seen, heard, sensed, felt, smelt ghosts, for want to keep calling them ghosts. And there's too many of them for it not to be real.
Yeah,
exactly.
There's no doubt in my mind
right.
that there's something in it, because I've just, you know, and the accounts I get, I call them accounts, not stories, by the way. Accounts is this is different. The accounts I get are so similar, but these people have never met. They're from different ages, different countries, different parts of the country. Of course, they've never met, and their accounts are the same, or almost the same, but they're not. They're talking about somebody else in a different place, in a different house, in a different, you know. But honest to God, that's why I know it's real.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's lovely to know that, because it is very nice to know.
AJ, read that question out. That's a good one.
Not even really a question. I mean, it's kind of a question, yeah, but it's kind of a statement too. I mean, Carl Hutchins says, Richard, he goes, with the church, it's God Almighty, yet we have through history.
Hello, Carl.
So many gods. So who is this Almighty? And you know what? He's actually truly right. I mean, like I said, I was born a Christian, raised a Christian, all stuff, but I've studied multiple religions, and I have a lot of Christian friends who will say, they'll be like, well, you know what? If you don't worship this religion, then that's it. You're going to hell. It's not the true God.
Or I'll kill you.
God. Yeah,
you worship a different. My Santa Claus has got a green coat. Yours got a red one.
Yeah,
I'll kill you.
how do we justify
Must
that?
be
You know what I
Irish.
mean? Say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An orange one or a green one.
Yeah, I'm the first to admit that. I mean, as a person who was growing up in Christianity, I'm the first one to say that now. You know, like I've studied all these different religions. Who are we to say that we're right and everyone else is
No,
wrong?
no. I know, isn't it
You're
frightening?
right. You don't know. You know, you're right. You're absolutely
Yeah,
right. And
yeah,
I totally
absolutely. And
thank
again,
you,
I mean,
Carl.
tell you what, there has to be. Well, no, you see, here I go. You see, my thoughts are, was God a spaceman?
You're right. Yeah.
Because yeah, I mean, Captain Cook, right, when he landed in, I don't know where, Tahiti or whatever, with this big thing that floated on the water with big sails. And they landed and they got these things called, bang sticks that they pointed at it. So when he went bang, the other person fell down dead. And he was a god for a period of time until they turned to get a bit like Jesus in a way, because they killed him. But, they killed Captain Cook in the end. But he was a god to the natives of whatever country it was. Now, my thoughts are, this big bright light in the sky that hovered and, oh, come on, guy, and came down and these guys that, you see, the only way anybody could fly 2,000 years ago was by having wings. Not a rocket booster or anything like that. So, they had to have wings. And, that sort of thing around the head, was that a glass bubble? That was, come on.
Yeah. I totally understand. I totally agree with that too. I mean, you have to think about it too. Like, look at all these old civilizations, Sumerian. I mean, all these different people. They have all these accounts. Egyptians. They have all these hieroglyphs with these what we would call spaceships now, or planes or whatever. But what were they seeing? And they use symbolism a lot of those times, right? So, what would you say from what you've learned through the history and stuff like that, Richard? What would you say?
Again, I'm a huge believer that. Oh, again, here we go. Are we really so self-centered and bigoted as to believe that we on this earth are the only planet within infinity that has life on it?
Yeah.
No,
Who
definitely
told us
not.
that, by the way? Who told us that?
Exactly. Exactly.
Who tortured Galileo and kept him under house arrest for the rest of his life because he came up with this nonsensical idea that the sun revolved around the earth?
Yes. Yep. I was just actually I was watching a documentary today about all of that, and I was saying how we first believed that, then we believed what was it, the other, where the sun, we revolved around the sun, or no, we were the center. I mean, there were just so many things that we've learned. So much we haven't learned yet, but yet we still make this justification of, well, this is it, and we don't know, and scientists.
Yeah, because there's so much we don't.
We're a galaxy, right? And they're saying that there's millions of other galaxies out there, and we have one planet in this galaxy that has human life. So what's to say that these millions of other galaxies all have one planet as well that has human life?
Yeah. Who knows?
Or some kind of life.
Beyond, what's beyond the beyond?
Exactly.
And through a black hole and keep going and beyond infinity. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's quite frightening when you think about what could be out there. But then again, the other one is, you see, like the ghost business, don't be frightened. Why should we be frightened of aliens?
You're right.
How do we know why? And it's Hollywood.
Yes,
H.G. Wells,
it is.
War of the Worlds. So you see, if a spaceship landed, we'd nuke it.
You're right. You're right.
Straight away. They wouldn't know. They wouldn't wait to see. But how do we know they're hostiles?
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because of Hollywood.
Right. Yes. It's crazy how our media can shape our beliefs, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
So
much so. I'm the same.
But it's the same with getting back. It's the same with the paranormal, because the media will be the first ones to advertise this new, horror film or this new paranormal series coming out. But then someone comes out and says, "Yeah, well, I seen a ghost." No, you didn't.
No. I know that. Yeah. Oh boy, I love it. I love it.
But what's also fascinating is that they also talk about, about not about just about energy, but our law of vibration. Everything is moving, So it's like between the law of vibration and the law of energy, it's like, how can we sit here and just just think of one little thing? There's so much that we don't know about this field, but still, it's like, I think if science actually took the minute to see what we've already learned, we can put some kind of explanation into this field. I truly believe, but we're still obviously going to be ways away of probably what the real truth of the whole matter is. But I think we need to look at it in this, kind of simplest form like this and see what we already know. Because I believe they hand you these knowledges like that,
Yeah, you're so right. And the problem is, you see, science, they don't do ghosts.
Yeah, you're right.
That's the problem. There's no proof, you see. And so science doesn't really, I get ridiculed by people, with letters after their names.
You're right.
Tell me there's no such thing as ghosts. And all I quote to them is, next time someone quotes to you that there's no such thing as ghosts, just quote to them that for the last 400 years, men with letters after their names, astronomers, have peered into the night sky through their telescopes looking at ghosts. Because by the time the image of that dead star travels millions of light years to the end of his telescope, he's actually looking at something that no longer exists.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
There's no such thing as ghosts, are there? Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
How about what we just observed? A scientist just observed that a planet was getting sucked in by a black hole and ripped apart, but it happened 317 million light years away. That means it's already happened 317 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a ghost.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Or at times, that one. It's a ghost because it's no longer there.
Exactly. And time's infinite, so it'll happen whether it's before or after anyway.
Yeah.
And you know what? As human beings, we have to label stuff to make us justified and feel better. And I think that's why we put certain names.
That's so right. That is. Yeah. And we shouldn't. There's I don't know. There's room. I've never done it, but and I don't know why I haven't. But I need to create something called the Great Paranormal Debate.
I like
where we have it on an international scale, probably internet-wise based. I think.
I say we make it happen. I would love to be a part of it with you. I would love to do that.
Absolutely.
I really think it would. It could become quite heated. It could become quite controversial. But this is what is needed. But the first thing you've got to get away from is the scary stuff.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
And the thing is, paranormal, right? Paranormal used to be a word that size. Yeah. Now it's that size because there's so many different subcategories.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? There's so much to talk about in it. You go into, like I say, UFOs. You go into biblical times. You go into, you could go on forever about it and still not cover it all.
No. But what does that word paranormal mean? Well, para, Latin for running alongside. So in other words, it's something running alongside the normal. Yeah. Paranormal. That's all it is.
Yeah. So it's like us living and them who have passed still living alongside of us.
Yeah. What about supernatural? Well, it's actually natural, but it's just a bit super, that's all. Not scary. Supernatural. Oh God, the supernatural. Oh, the paranormal. Yeah, scary. No, it's not. Ghosts are not there to get you.
You're right.
They were you and me.
Well, you know what I've learned? We went to me and a buddy of mine. We recently rented out the old Montana State Prison last year around May.
Wow.
And it was just me and him the entire compound. I tell you what, most amazing experience. Lights off, night vision was great. But all these spirits, we heard so much negative stuff, right? And I went into the devil worship sale, did everything they told me not to do, and sit all this stuff, but nothing happened, obviously. But the thing is that a lot of these spirits, I feel that some of them are trapped in these places, and they get sick and tired of these people coming in, poking and prodding. Do that. So why do you think you get scratched? Why do you think you get this anger from them? So you can't look at them like, oh, it's a demon, because it's not. It's these people. If you or me were stuck somewhere, nobody can hear us. We're gonna get pissed,
Yeah. But don't get me wrong. We know when it was say evil spirits. That's a silly word, but basically we know that if you were evil, if you're an evil person in your lifetime, when you pass over, that will go with you. Your ego goes with you, your personality. So they will still be, you know, don't think for 1 minute that Hitler is now wandering around picking daffodils.
No.
He isn't. You know, he is what he was. He was what he is, or is what he was, you know, and always will be. So there is evil. We know there's evil, but it's not demonic evil. There's no such thing as demons anyway. That's another thing created by the church.
Thank you. I believe the same thing. I believe the same. After all the work that I've done in the past decade, I'm like, you know what? It's something that we personally make up and we, you know, touch upon. It's that scariness. It's that adrenaline rush we like, you know?
Yeah, that's right.
And it's like these programs as well, when they're trying to get more viewers and stuff. So they'll go in somewhere, like you said, Richard, they'll go in somewhere. Someone in this room of this house, for instance, has been trapped there for hundreds of years. Right? Yeah. And they go in there and they're going, yeah, well, is that the best you can do? Come on, then, hit me. Well, the person's gonna say, do you know what? I'm not having this.
Yes, right. You're so right. Again, you know, respect is the other word that has to be used.
I sometimes forget, but Chris reminds me of always saying please and thank you after everything.
Never mind swearing at them and effing and blinding at them, and oh, come on, you know, that's what most haunted started doing. Of course, you know, it's just pathetic. But never mind. But the show was good and everyone loved it. And
but you know what? For you to be able to,
you gotta respect them.
You to be able to share your opinion like that and their honest opinion, I respect that, because even though you were a part of it, you've seen what you didn't like in the parts of the paranormal that need to go. And I think you're right. I think we do need to have either a documentary film or something along those lines that is more along the real lines. I mean, hey, it may not be super entertaining all the time, but you know what? We have to go and we have to, get away from all these labels that we create ourselves. Not only been around for thousands of years, but not only that, we also have to learn to go, and that we're dealing with people like you and me. Show respect, show love. You know, like if someone is trapped, that means they're stuck in that whatever
they need help
cycle. You know, I mean,
they need help.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, and I totally agree that we should come in with respect. You're absolutely right.
That's the word, respect.
It's gonna attack you. You know,
they were human once.
Yeah,
and they should command the same respect as we would give to any other human being.
But
some of them still think they are.
They probably still think they are human.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they were, and they think they are. Some of them, you know, haven't moved on for whatever reason.
Exactly.
Still think they're living on this plane, and they're going like the old lady that walked through.
If someone speaks to you, want respect. You want to be spoken to the way, or you should speak the way that you expect someone to speak to you. Yeah,
and so you trying to get a response from anybody by being rude to them, just you're not going to get anywhere, are you?
Well, you turn around and walk away, because I would.
Of course you would. I would, yeah.
I just sod you.
Or smack him in the mouth, you know.
Yeah, sod you.
yeah, exactly. And that's what normally happens. And then it turns into a demon fest. You're right, absolutely.
Yeah, it's true. But,
you're right.
Yeah, it is true in a way. You know, it's fascinating in that way, because you're going to get more. To me, you're going to get more activity the nicer you are to these people. If you go into a little old farmhouse you find at the side of the road, and we have done, and you know, you go in there and you're like, oh, you know, this farmhouse is all this stuff's a load of shit land here and all this kind of, and you know, and then you start, you know, oh yeah, there's nothing happening in here. You haven't got the guts and stuff, you know, and things. You know, you're gonna get activity. You're gonna get views, you know, but you're not gonna get it for the right reason.
No,
you know, if you're going to say, if you're here, could you please, if possible, move a chair? Or
yeah, absolutely.
You're right.
I always start with when I'm doing be it a seance or whatever I'm doing. The first thing I say is "Good evening, spirits," and introduce myself and the group round the table. To tell he's Fred, he's John. Introduce yourselves. Good evening. How are you doing? You know, we only come here in respect for you. We have no fear for you, and I hope you have no fear for us, from us. And respect, guys. Yeah. That's what it's all about. But
just what you'd expect. You'd expect to be respected.
Of course, I would.
So
and so should they.
It's the same.
Yeah. It's an interesting one, though. I've come up with this one recently. What do ghosts do all day?
Right? Yeah. Exactly.
What do they do when they're not telling you to get out, or effing and blinding at you, or throwing something? What do they do the rest of the? What when we're not there? You know?
Yeah,
in a haunted location, asking them to do this, and this. Will you do this? What actually do they do for the rest of eternity?
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Gina just said, "Listen to Richard," and she said that, above over here. She said, "Spirits must get fed up with us asking questions all the time," and I truly agree. Think about it. If you're in your space, we don't really truly understand consciousness, but if you think about it, that energy, whatever we truly are, down to the cellular level, that leaves this body, that's so intelligent that this energy, it's like we don't truly understand. So how could we just say, like, that they go somewhere else, or what are they doing all day? Like you said, they could be right next to in their own thing,
Do they have, do they get out of the local at 8 o'clock at night? Or do they have meals? I don't know. Sorry, mate.
See, the thing as well is, right? Do you not also think, if, like, I'll use the example again, if you go back into one of these little old farmhouses, right, and there's been 150 paranormal investigators there before you, and you walk into one room, and all there is a table and a chair, and someone sits on the chair and says, "Can you please move the table?" Maybe they're thinking to themselves, "I've done this 150 times. I'm not doing it again." so maybe they're not getting activity, not because there's no one there, but maybe it's whoever it is thinking, not again.
Yeah, absolutely agree with you.
It's like yourself when you get a kid ask the same question over and over again.
Yeah.
What's that? What's that, Mum? What's that? What's that?
I don't know, but
you must get it on the ghost tours, Richard. You must get one question, do you?
Sorry, what?
So you must have one question that really roused you, that you get asked all the time on the ghost tours.
Good question, that. Good point. The other question I get, of course, is, have you ever seen a ghost?
Really?
That's the thing I get more than anything. Yes, I have. So yeah, that's probably the question that. I don't think I'm trying to think of anything that actually riles me, that gets on my nerves and think.
Yeah.
No. To be honest, I mean, I get an awful lot of people with open minds that are, that are prepared to be convinced.
Yeah,
and that's what I try and do.
Me and AJ were discussing this the other last week, because when we do the podcast, we normally start with, so how did you get into the paranormal, which is a boring question to start with, but when someone comes on like yourself, you can't say, I seen that investigation last week, and then I met you 2 years ago, and then near the end of the podcast go, so how did you get into this, by the way? It's a question that, as boring as it is, you've got to start with it, really, haven't you?
I agree with you. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And it is something that people want to know as well, as to how, because there are different ways. Some people have got into it. Christ, how many people have got into it because of Most Haunted? I cannot imagine.
Loads.
And that's the thing that I what's the word? I thank them for, or whatever, because that single program's created more argument, more debate, more discussion, and more research than any ghost program ever has, and set the scene for most ghost programs that are still going now. For the right reason, the wrong reason, that doesn't matter, because it's created an incredible awareness of the paranormal.
Absolutely.
And most huge discoveries on the planet have been made by amateurs.
You're right.
So you don't know one day what, because people have watched. You see, okay, we've got so many paranormal groups running around playing at Most Haunted, trying to be Most Haunted, but who knows what they may discover one day.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. They might catch something groundbreaking.
Yeah, especially if they deal with it in the right way, with respect.
You're right.
Yeah.
Then who knows? Who knows?
Richard, I wanted to ask you this question.
Yes.
The question I was going to was, okay, so our energy, right? We talk about how, God is this a divine energy and all this type of stuff. But the thing is, like, I truly believe that our energy is so powerful that we have the capacity, just like quantum physics says, you know, positive attracts positive, negative attracts negative. I believe that with our consciousness and stuff, I believe we have the ability to create these certain things with our energy. So like what I mean is bringing in the intent of what we're about to do. Say if you're going to use a Ouija board and you have the intent to try to you know, contact something negative, you're going to get that negative outcome most likely towards it. Or if you try to attract something positive during a ghost and spirit communication, I believe that we can create these type of things that obviously you know. So I mean, I was going to ask you, what do you believe in that? And by chance,
I believe that we are not that far from Star Wars and use the Force. I think we totally underestimate the ability, the power of the human, not of the human brain, but of the human mind.
Yes.
And I believe that, I mean, for instance, poltergeist activity, I believe that most poltergeist activity is back to energy again and created by you, either by prepubescent children that have got so much going on in their, they hate the parents, they hate everything, they can't understand what's happening in their own mind, in their own body, and they're so, and they're angry, and the energy that comes from them is I think we are mentally capable of moving things.
I do too.
Because our thoughts have frequencies, and frequencies have weight. Absolutely. And that means we are mentally capable of moving things in the same way as, not quite the same, but light has weight. Well, it doesn't actually have weight, but when light hits mass, it causes the mass to move. And that's why space shuttles have light sails on them, because light can cause them to move. And that's, but light isn't physical, but it can do it. And our thoughts can do the same thing. And so we can, not only can we move things, but we can influence.
I truly believe that as well.
And there's no doubt in my, and that's why I'm not 100% sure about a Ouija board, a table, a glass, or whatever. Is it your dead granddad up there that's coming down through your mind, down your arm, through your fingers, onto the table and making it move? Or is it the nervous energy from you that's moving it?
Same
or
thing
collectively you. Because personally, I've never seen a Ouija board move with only one person on it.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
Or a table, or a glass. You need.
I've seen
the
it once.
energy.
Have you?
Fake. It looked. Yeah, I've seen it once, but it looked fake. It looked like mentally they were just moving it. That's what that's what I thought. That wasn't the person. But in reality, you know, when there's two or more people, obviously you can think more.
You get more energy.
Energy. Back to this word, you see, energy.
Yeah,
energy. But yeah, I absolutely agree with you. So we can influence. I mean, there are I'm not sure what, but there are animals out there that can actually mentally stun their prey and cause it to freeze.
Yeah.
And then they get it. But it's not the roar of the tiger that does it. It's God knows how mentally capable of doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, God Almighty, you know, that we don't know enough about what's going on. Sorry, I'm pointing at that. That's wrong. It's the whole of it. It's your mind. I've got a theory that the brain is actually the hard drive.
Yeah,
is that right? Do you think it's the same lines, Richard, where if you're walking across the road and a car comes along and beats its horn or whatever, and instead of automatically running, you freeze, and then the car hits you?
Yeah, that's the point. Yeah,
because normally you're walking across the road, a car comes around the corner at whatever ridiculous speeds. And you think, right, you take to your heels and you run to the other side of the road. But sometimes people just freeze.
Yeah, they do. Similar situation. Only the difference there, I think, possibly is that it's a sound, whereas the animal that does it actually make a sound. It's not the roar of the tiger that causes you to freeze. It's so. I'm not saying it is a tiger that does this. I can't remember what animals it is, but some animals can mentally freeze their prey for seconds while they're pouncing. Come on, and there's so much more to that side of things than any of us realise. We are mentally capable of actually sending images to loved ones while we're still alive.
Yeah,
it's called crisis apparitions. Oh, come on! There's so much. I tell you, we nobody realises the potential of a really good TV documentary about the paranormal.
Something that definitely
we're definitely up for this debate, Richard. Get it going, and we're up for it.
Yeah, I think it could be quite something, and we may learn more from it.
That's what I mean.
Which is what it's all about.
Yes, that's how we have to learn is by this. And people can't get offended by opinion. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, we don't truly 100% know. But the thing is, it's like, why don't we discuss it? Because it can open up new possibilities for our research.
Why indeed? Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. And we don't, because we're all too busy running around screaming.
Exactly. Oh, you're right. You're right. Right.
It's true, isn't it?
Scared. They do. They want to be scared.
Yeah. And that's fine, and that's commercial. That's fine. But don't get me wrong. There are groups. Of course, there are lots of. I'm not criticising. There are lots of paranormal groups out there that A, don't do it for a profit, don't do it commercially, that are genuinely out there trying to find more out. To prove what it's all about.
Prove it, innit?
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Yeah. There are, but
Richard, do you think we ever will?
Sorry, do I think we'll ever prove?
Yeah, do you think we ever will? Not saying millions of years. I'm just saying in the next, say, 10, 20 years, do you think we may?
I think the only way that it'll ever be proven is if all of our ancestors can come back and be around us when they're a bit like the Day of the Dead in Mexico and things like that, which is, again, they believe that, but other than that, I'm not so sure. Because, for instance, if just supposing I go down to Derby jail tomorrow night and I actually capture a ghost. Yeah. And I get it in a bottle. I actually managed to do it in a bottle, and it's in there trying to let me out now.
Yeah.
And look at this, there is a real ghost in there. Oh my God, yeah. Okay. And so the only way I'm going to prove that it's real is by I'll rent the Albert Hall in London, which has about 6,000 people in it, right? And I'm going to actually unleash it live to the world on the stage on the Albert Hall with a live audience of 6,000 people. And so I pull the cork out the bottle, and out comes the ghost, just like a genie, and everyone's going, "Oh my God!" People get up and run, and people stand. People want to know more. They can see through it. They can. I put my hand through it, and they say, "How about people?" And I said, "Right now, look, that's not enough. That's not enough, because basically everyone at home on TV will say, it's done. That's done by mirrors. That's done. That's a hologram. That's pre-recorded. It's this. It's that. Anything but the truth." I said, "Right. Well, I'm going to get all 6,000 people to come up onto stage and meet the ghost and talk to the ghost and put your hand through the ghost and ask it questions, anything." And so people come up to the stage and the ghost, "Oh, do you know what? I was with your mother last night. I remember she was actually killed by a number 37 bus on Waterloo Road in London in 1948. She hadn't got any stockings on because of the blah, 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 because of the war was still on. And she got a basket with 2 apples, 3 oranges, and oh my God, this is absolutely right. And it has a message for nearly all of the 6,000 people on the stage who said that, yes, right. And everyone at home would say they were all paid to say that.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
You're never going to win.
No,
I don't think you are.
No,
I don't think, unless all of our ancestors come back to everybody all the time. Yeah. When they feel like it. Yeah. And then it just becomes the norm.
Yeah.
And then they'll be out of a job.
Why don't they? And there's a question of why don't our loved ones always just show up if they can manifest? How come they do not? And I ask
how come they don't?
And I ask this constantly, and I mean,
I don't know.
my father passed away in 2020, and he constantly comes through and says his full name through the spirit box. And it's really fascinating. And but the thing is, I always ask him, well, why won't you manifest in front of me? Why won't you physically? And he goes,
why don't other people?
He goes, I won't. It's not going to make a difference. You know what I mean? And
I know.
But it's like, I get it. Why don't they though? And then it goes back to that thing where, is it us manipulating the environment? With that energy. But again, where the energy goes was in that.
Yeah,
person,
exactly.
so.
And of course, people will then say, oh well, of course they're not allowed to. Why? Who says they're not?
Yeah.
Who says they're not? Who gives back to God again? Is it? Exactly. He won't let them.
Yeah.
The church won't allow it.
No, that's right.
God.
I don't know.
And I want to say, you're right. Some do come back, and I have had visits by what I believe to be people who have recently passed away that were family of mine. Something recently happened that I saw my grandmother full-bodied. I mean, she was talking to me. I heard her voice and everything. But the thing is, though, is that even when we have those experiences, it's still, at least to me, I don't know for everybody, but to me, it's like I always want more. It's never enough. And unfortunately, I feel like no matter what we give to this community of paranormal, I feel like it will never be enough.
That's right. That's
so true. But do you not find as well that when that happens, because of everything that goes on and because of all these things that people say, you'll see that, but then a while later you'll think to yourself, well, did I actually see it? You'll start doubting yourself.
Oh yeah. I doubt every experience that I've had. Everyone.
Me too.
I doubt it. But
you're right. I mean, I think you have to, if you really are if you really are true to the research and you really are true to this field, I think you have to kind of doubt it though too,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
You're right. You're absolutely right, Richard. I totally agree. But this is something that I'm so happy that we're having this conversation about, because not a lot of people will, and a lot of people feel like, oh, well, you're just attacking others or attacking religion, and it's not that case, because I have a spiritual or religious background in Christianity, but the thing is, I'm willing to discuss and say that, you know what, just because someone else said that this is the real true God, I am not going to sit here and just say that, because I know, and there's so much more to life than just thinking that way. There's energy, stuff that we know scientifically that we put to it. So I totally agree that I'm so happy we're having this conversation, Richard. So thank you.
The funny thing is, they attack us.
Exactly, you're right.
Both the church and science. Church and science.
You're right. You're absolutely right. And it's sad that we can't all come to an agreement or work together. But I'm hoping that
for the common good of mankind.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly.
Wow.
Yet they believe in God.
Yes.
That doesn't
exist.
Oh, come on.
Amazing.
Absolutely. Well, Richard, I wanted to ask you, since we got immediately into the history stuff and we broke off into debate, what got you into the whole paranormal thing before you got with, before you first got into it? Because I know
I'll be honest with you, it was purely and simply becoming chairman of Derby Tourism and realizing that I needed to find some way of getting people to come to the city of Derby. And I thought, well, the ghosts, because to be honest with you, although I've been frightened of ghosts all my life.
Yeah.
For no reason. But no, I mean, I never saw a ghost. Nothing happened to me at all till I was 27. Nothing. Nothing scared me other than kids that used to tell me ghost stories when I was very young. They were older than me. And they used to tell, and it terrified me. I was obviously very impressionable. And so I had a fear of ghosts, but not an interest in ghosts. And it really started with me researching to get this ghost walk right, to believe in it. And that's how it started, purely and simply by realizing that this ghost walk, the first one I did was rubbish, because it was silly stories that I didn't believe in. So I needed to believe in what I was talking about.
Yeah.
You're right.
And that's why I'm still, to this day, 30 years on, still doing the same thing, having to believe in what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Can I just say one thing there before we go any further? Carl Hodgson I got a comment up now. The best place he's ever been for a ghost investigation was Lytham Hall. That's where we are.
Really? Well, I'll be damned. There you go. Yeah.
Carl, Richard, have you ever been there? Lytham Hall?
Lytham, no, never been. Lytham St Anne's, is that? Or
it is,
yeah. No, never been. Put it on the list.
Well, you know where you got to come to.
Put it on the list.
I know, right? That's it.
Put it on your list right after Connecticut.
Right. Yeah.
There you go. We're trying to get Richard to coming to the.
I'm going to have a word with Charles and see what we can do about coming over, because the the potential could be, could be good. Because I do a show. I do all sorts of stuff. I do a show called Psychic and Science, a 3-hour stage show, where I interact. The public, the audience interacts on the stage. Everything from glass divination, table tilting, the whole works, and I bring the audience on. It helps if it's a haunted theatre or haunted place, but I do all sorts of stuff. I sing for my supper, literally.
I like it. I think it's great. I think that's a great thing to do too. Get people involved, let them have their experience. And
I do. The other thing I do is a dinner called Dining with the Dead.
I like it.
Which is a 4 or 5 course meal with ghost stories in between.
I love
that. Goes to treats as well.
Tell me, tell everyone watching, Richard, how they can get involved in one of these things that you do hold. Like, where can they find the information?
richardfelix.co.uk. richardfelix.co.uk. My email is richardfelix@gmx.com. richardfelix@gmx.com. But all my DVDs, my books, everything is on richardfelix.co.uk.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
All my ghost walks, my tours, where I'm going, what I'm doing, and all sorts of stuff like that.
Richard, we have a question for you from Dan Wellman. It says, Richard, do you believe a ghost can drag you out of bed?
No.
And if not, why don't you?
I don't.
Why don't you?
I'm sorry. If someone tells me that if it happened to them, who am I to say it didn't?
Yes.
And I can't. Yeah. But personally, no.
What when he said he goes, if you don't, why don't you?
Why don't? Because number one, is it?
It's got the energy.
I'm not an expert, guys. The next thing
somebody's energy.
How can a ghost talk? It hasn't got a voice box.
Yeah.
It's got to be energy.
It hasn't got fingers. Yeah, energy. Yeah, but why would it want to drag anybody out of bed?
Yeah.
Really, I'm not funny. But if someone has been, then I don't know, some energy force has done that.
Got to be inner energy.
Yeah, I don't know, but was it a ghost? And if it was, why would that ghost want to drag you out of bed?
Yeah.
Yeah. What had you done to be dragged out of bed?
Yeah. It's like, who did you piss off?
Yeah, too right.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get it.
The same. You see, I'm the same with scratchers and things like that. You see, a ghost hasn't got fingernails.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Right. The thing is, I've had that happen to me, and it's weird because when it happens, it's like I don't feel that it's more like an energy.
Back to the energy thing, you see. Yeah.
Yeah, I really do.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm a skeptic as well, but I tell it as it is.
Snap.
My tea is nearly ready, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so's mine.
So Dan said, Richard, in the case of the Enfield poltergeist in the lounge, up to 16 members from the Society of Paranormal Research at the same time, where a lot of objects were thrown around among other witnessed on different occasions. Even a police officer has witnessed. Do you believe there was an evil ghost there or another reason? What do you think was there, Richard?
I don't think there was an evil ghost there. But then again, I have said, I think there's some form of energy that did it. But you see that there was 2 prepubescent girls in the Enfield poltergeist, I believe. Yeah. And again, I just believe it's back to an energy thing that happened. The first question I always ask obviously they were witnesses, but I always ask, when they talk about poltergeist activity, the first question I say is, was it a council house? Why? What's that got to do with it? Well, one of the easiest ways, because the council won't give you you don't like the neighbours and you want an exchange, but the council won't let you move. So invent a poltergeist. An evil poltergeist that's terrifying the kids. It gets in the newspaper, and then it gets on the local news on TV. And before you know it, the council feels they are duty bound to move you to another property. Yeah, and that happens a lot.
Absolutely.
And then the other one,
then that house gets labelled with something that it doesn't even have.
Yeah. And then the other one I always ask is, are there any pubescent children in the house?
Absolutely.
And the energy from them can cause things to move, or people that have got mental problems.
Yes.
That can, energy.
Yes, I totally believe that.
Energy.
Yeah, I totally believe that. My father had a form of schizophrenia, and even though he was totally able to work, he was a great guy, a big dude. I mean, he was a strong dude. I mean, but he would literally, we'd be sitting in the living room, and he would just look to the left, and what's going on? He'd be like, you didn't just see that man in the top hat with the suit that just walked through the kitchen, or the dog that's sitting next to me barking? I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
pizza, chill, you know what I mean? But but I wanted to say to Dan, he said, I hope you don't mind all the questions. Think your work is fantastic, Richard. Learned more from you than I ever did at school. And Dan, you have nothing to worry about on this podcast. We want people to ask questions. We want people to get involved. So one question,
interact all you can.
Exactly. One thing he did ask right before that was, he said, Richard, he said, what did you think about your regression that you had a while back? Did you believe in it? What did you think of that regression? Because I've done too, and mine fascinated.
I think there's a possibility that there is something in it, because I believe that we actually, that there are different degrees that we can progress onto, and I believe it's a little bit like not passing your driving test first time. You have to resit it. So I think sometimes, that's why there are people that have got absolutely no past lives that seem to come through, because they actually passed to the next level, and there are others who didn't pass to the next level and have to come back again. So there might be somebody with 3 or 5 past lives, because that energy that goes somewhere has to go somewhere. Does it sometimes come back and occupy? And I don't believe in the same thing that Hindus believe in, like a production line, or a newborn baby, dead person's soul. Newborn baby, dead person's soul. I don't believe in that, but I believe that we sometimes have to come back again because we're not ready for the next level.
Absolutely.
Where that level is, and whether you do really play golf at one of the levels or go to the pub, I don't know.
Right. Hey, I hope so. Right. So
I've got one more question.
Okay.
I got one more question for Richard before we go. But when people say, this is another one that gets me.
Yes.
That something happens in a building, a haunted building.
Yes.
And they say, "Oh, someone's opened the portal."
Oh. Yeah.
Do you believe in that kind of?
Yes, I think there is a possibility. Yeah, because again, they've got to come from somewhere, haven't they? And there may be energy portal, energy. Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit similar to back to this. All I keep going about is energy, of course. Is that prehistoric man used to build stone circles on energy sites. He knew more than we realized about energy and stone, and that the Chinese erect pagodas on energy sites in the ground, and the same way as they stick needles in energy points on people's bodies. It's the same sort of thing.
Absolutely.
So yes, I think highly likely that portals could well be energy sites that somehow a call it what you will, a spirit, a soul, or whatever, can come through. Yeah, it's a possibility.
Absolutely.
But again, I think it's more of an energy thing again.
I think that's a great way to look at it too. Like I said, we go back to the always energy thing all the time, because really that's, like I said, like you said, and what we all said, we are down to the cellular level energy. I mean, we don't know how it works. We don't know what type of energy all the time. We're able to affect things electronically and stuff. So we know that it is energy, and we know that we are energy, which I find great. I do have 2 things. One question that I have for Gina. She said, looking forward to my lone vigil tomorrow in the Derby.
I know. Gina is actually spending 13 hours alone in Derby. Well, will she be alone? Because we know full well that normally, she's actually raising cash to keep Derby Jail going, to be quite honest with you, because we have lots of different expense. And she's actually trying to raise money tomorrow night by spending 13 hours alone in Derby Jail. We do have a sort of slightly aggressive, funnily enough, jailer who ran the place that when I say aggressive, aggressive, not evil, aggressive, that still thinks he runs the place. And it'd be going to be an interesting night. And she's basically, if you want to donate to her, if you go to Gina Sugden's Facebook page, she has a way of called Just Giving, I think. She's already raised some cash for me. She does a fantastic job for me, actually. And God forbid, she's 13 hours alone in Derby jail. I wouldn't do it, I'll tell you. No way, Jose.
Christine would do it.
No, Christine wouldn't do it. No, Robin will.
Lisa asked me, and I'll also ask you this question, Richard. She says, do you watch American TV shows such as Ghost Avengers, and what do you think of them? And yes, I do watch all the American TV shows. Some I do like, some I don't like. Like, for example, I've been a huge fan of Ghost Adventures since the beginning, but what people need to understand about the entertainment industry, like me, Richard, and everyone's been talking about, it's 50% entertainment, 50% real investigating. Yes, Ghost Adventures, I have had people that worked with Travel Channel that have worked with them. And yes, they do their own investigation, but you have to understand, in entertainment, they have to produce something. So even if they don't feel something, I'm sorry, but yes, sometimes they have to do it. Now, when you're in this field for as long as Richard has been, and for some of these guys that do these shows, they are probably a little sensitive to this energy, or they may have some type of sensitiveness to it. So you can't discount that. But in the same time, when it comes to entertainment, you have to understand it's 50% this and 50% this. So, you know, I mean, you have to take it with a grain of salt, like what Richard has been saying. But to see people who aren't in entertainment, right, Richard, that are doing this for the right reason, you'll know what is real. So
I like what you've just said about after a period of time, a sensitivity to it. Because I always say, I'm not mediumistic, I'm not psychic, I'm not asensitive, but I believe I have become sensitive to the subject.
Absolutely.
And I respect them, and I believe that they respect me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
which is
I think
what it's all
best way
about.
to be.
Back to finish on the word respect.
It's back to respect, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's all about
Richard.
Respect,
one more question.
Go on. I can smell the curry.
Will you please come on here again sometime?
Of course I will. Only two, please. Let's do another hour and a half. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I mean,
Brilliant.
I don't know what you have planned. So
Yeah. Anything. Anytime you like. Get in touch with me.
Excellent. AJ and Christine will add you on Facebook as well.
Not a problem.
And then they can
yeah. And Richard, I wanted to say that I'm going to be in contact with you, because if you're going to come to Connecticut to do Paracon, that'd be great. I'd love to see you there. I mean, it's great to be in. Yeah, and even though it's supposed to be Derby, but Derby, Connecticut would be awesome to see you at, and I'd love to see you there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, let's do it.
I would love to have you there, man.
We could organise a few events while I'm there to pay for what I'm doing, you see, to pay for my... let's do it.
Please. I mean, if I can help you set something up, please let me know. Also,
yes, please. Yes, please.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Awesome. Well,
all right, guys.
I want to thank every single person who's watched. I know Richard is so grateful for the questions. I know I am. Everybody is. So, Richard, anything you want to leave? Can you leave them with some places that they could check out everything like you did before, so they can come to your site and help you with whatever?
Yeah. richardfelix.co.uk. The books are on, the DVDs are on, the tours, the places I go, what I'm doing, all on richardfelix.co.uk. Only too pleased to answer any questions or anything. Yeah, come and talk to me.
Richard, fascinating person, my friend. I'm so happy I got a chance to actually.
Been a pleasure. Really enjoyed it.
You're humble, my friend, and I thank you so much for the work that you're doing with the ghost tours, with everything. I mean, keeping these places alive is something.
That's right. Yeah.
Important. Yeah. So important. Gina, thank you for putting that in the comments. Richard's stuff. richardfelix.co.uk. Richard, again, thank you so much, and thank you.
Have a good night, guys, or good afternoon.
You too.
I'll stay in touch.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you, Richard.
Bye.
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 Bye. Oh, that's so cool. I had such. Oh, where'd she go? Actually, Chris out. Oh no. There we go. Sorry, Chris. My apologies. But man, I just want to say
that was amazing. That was a good podcast. That was.
Yeah, that was.
The thing that I want people to understand.
He's a nice bloke.
The thing that I want people to understand. we're not cynical. You know, we're not here to like judge people. We're not here to judge religion. We're not here to judge people who believe in what they believe in. The thing is that these are conversations, no matter what you believe in, that we kind of have to have. And if you're in this field, you're right. And if you're in this field, you can't just say every single thing is this. It has to be.
Everybody has an opinion.
Exactly.
Right. Everybody's opinion matters. That's the problem. It's like whether you believe in that opinion or not, it's still an opinion. It's still somebody's giving them respect. Going back to what Richard, respect is so important. Also, Gina left Richard at mx.com, so you can contact him if you need to. And Gina, thank you so much. We enjoyed your company and everyone else's company. Please come and check us out. Talking with the Source on Facebook. We have multiple people come on. We've had Patty Nick on.
Gina, sorry, AJ. Gina added me today because she works along with Richard, and she added me today because she wanted to share the page out on multiple networks. So, like I say, Gina, you can add AJ as well on Facebook, and then.
Please do. And feel free to message us, ask us whatever. I'm AJ Capasso on Facebook. You got, Robin's name. Chris is with him. So please feel free to reach out anytime. You know, you could check out my spirit communication stuff on Coventry Circle Paranormal, YouTube, and all the other social medias, as well as Robin at Halford Paranormal with Chris. And, you know, we're just super grateful to be able to talk to these amazing people. From Patty Negri, we're going to be having Dave Schrader on soon when his new show drops. We have just a bunch of people, great people like Richard, Felix. And these are the conversations that I like to have with everyone. And the most important thing is anyone who comes and watch these podcasts, come get involved. Leave questions in the comments. And like I said, like the paranormal, go and visit Parapost Network Central on Facebook. It has a bunch of paranormal podcasts, live investigations, tarot readings. We have mediums on there. I mean, just literally go and do it. If you have a podcast, reach out to us. We will put you on the Parapost Central. So please, Parapost Network. So please reach out. We love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Chris, thank you for joining us for this one.
I enjoyed it. It was brilliant.
Super happy. I absolutely loved it too. I'm so upset though that your voice is a little out of way because I was waiting to get into it.
I want to say stuff that I can't.
I know. I heard.
I think it's great.
He's loving it. He's loving it.
I know he's loving it. I know he's loving it. Trying to keep this.
Keep some more all quiet.
Yeah. Oh, I tell you, whoop his butt, Chris. Whoop his butt. But thank you so much though, Chris, for joining us. I really appreciate it. Like I said, please join us anytime you feel like.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
So love you and thank you so much.
Right.
And,
I'm gonna get some tea now.
Absolutely, I'll feel better.
You go and get your tea now.
Yeah.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
And Robin, thank you so much, brother, for always being a great friend. And for everyone who doesn't know, we do have another host. His name is Steve O. Hopkins. He's from Canada. Robert's out of UK. I'm out of the US, and Steve O's from Canada. He just works a lot, so during the week we can't normally have him on. We were trying to switch to Sunday so he can be coming on, but he does some amazing spirit communication. So you could visit his stuff at S&K Paranormal on YouTube, or Steve O My Journey Paranormal. And when I tell you, he gets some incredible stuff. It truly is. So go and check them out. Him and his wife do amazing work in this. But we thank everyone for watching. Please tune in.
Absolutely.
We're going to be going on Friday, I believe, or Saturday. Again, I forgot. I just have to check who it is, and we're going to be posting it. So
Now you're talking. We'll have to put but the best way to do it is for everybody watching to go to Talking with the Source, and basically like the page, join the page, whatever you got to do, because although we want to try and get the podcast on Sundays, we're sometimes having like 2 a week, and we've got to do different days because we've got to tie in with the people that we're actually getting on. So
exactly. Yeah, we're accommodating. We like to work with everybody. So this will be up though. You can check out all the older videos. We have Patty Negri, like I said, a bunch of people that we've had on.
Rick McCallum.
Yeah, Rick McCallum, actor and stuntman, also a great paranormal investigator. We just recently had him on. So please go there, check it out. Come and join us anytime. Ask any questions. We like to put as many questions as we can that we can get up on the lives. So thank you so much all for joining us. This has been another episode of Talking with the Source. We love and appreciate all of you. And thank you so much for all you guys' comments and questions. God bless.
See you later.
Have a good day.